Today, I wanted to talk about my gymnastics career because I like to tell stories and I wanted to tell you this. I didn't start gymnastics really until I was 12 about. I might have done like a tumbling class before that, and then I was doing ballet, and basically the teacher kicked me out because she said that I don't know, I was jumping around too much. Maybe I wasn't graceful enough. I don't know. Anyway, I started like I don't know, whatever level 5 when I was 12. And my parents didn't really know much about anything because they were immigrants and they were just kind of like looking to whatever anybody else would have suggested. Then they're like, okay, sure, kind of going with the flow. I really, when I was 12 years old, I just really was looking up to like other girls that were my age. And I was just like, wow, that's so cool. And I remember walking into the gym to try out. One of my friends asked me, she's like, why don't you come try out for our team? And I'm like, I just do back handsprings, in the grass. And so I was like, okay. So I went there and I don't think I ever really much walked on a beam. And there's like girls doing back handsprings. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do that too. Cause I've done it on, I was that crazy. I would just throw things and not even hope for the best. I just was thinking nothing could happen. I don't know. It was really weird. I didn't have that gene that like protects you. You should be nervous about something at that time. But it really went in my favor because I guess my ambition and like how fun of it overweighed anything else. Between 12 and 18, I just worked really hard and I went through level 5 to level 10. I did skip level 9, but I did do, I think, at least 2 years of level 8. It wasn't until junior year of high school. I was just doing high school gymnastics and club. I had a club, obviously. I was doing, I think it was USGF at the time. But I was not sure, like, what, would be the next step at all. Like, I'm telling you guys, I did not know there's college gymnastics. My parents didn't know. It was all, just like a day by day kind of journey. So it was like my junior year end of season, and my high school coach, says like, you really need to come to our gym. He worked at this gym called Gymkhana. And so I was like, okay, sure, I'll come check it out, Dude, I am from Oak Park River Forest. I had to drive an hour to the gym. It was crazy. And it was during rush hour because, of course, usually practice was like 6 to 9. So we were leaving at 5 o'clock. The way home was a little easier because it wasn't rush hour. When I was there, I think that rest of that season, I'm not sure if I ever competed level 8 my junior year season. But anyway, it's not really important. What's important is they told me that I just, if I wanted to try to do college gymnastics, I have a chance. My slope of like, getting better was just really fast because, again, I told you my ambition and not being scared and like just studying people. That's all I would do. Like, if there was a girl, there were so many girls better than me, I would just watch them and study them and, try and replicate what they did. And that's how I learned a lot faster. So I think, it's just like in school when you get like your teacher does a math problem and then you're, writing it down and trying to replicate it. I think, one thing that kind of is not helpful is when the teacher doesn't do enough problems for you to replicate, right? If that's the case, join my math classes, carpediemacademics.com. Okay. But I do a lot of problems and examples for you guys to become experts in math. Okay. So, I just, in gymnastics though, there's always like every person that's going in front of you, you're just watching and, like, okay, well, what did she do? How did she do that trick? And obviously, duh, your coaches help you a lot too. But I'm talking about like, how did I do this so fast? Okay, that's kind of what I want to focus on at this moment is how do you get better so quickly? And that's what a few of these things: the ambition, not having fear, and watching, watching, observing, go home, watch more videos of, Olympic gymnasts doing their thing. And then, the last thing I'd have to say, one really important thing, one more, is conditioning. That is far beyond the most important thing. So, like going so fast, there could have been many opportunities for me to get hurt, but I really didn't because I was really strong, and I would condition with like perfect form because that's the only way you're getting stronger. I just want you to know, for gymnastics, if you're not conditioning in perfect form, you're not doing it the right way. And you're not going to get, with all of that hard work, you're just not going to get the benefits that you would if you just really squeezed your legs, pointed your toes, like the muscles, like inner leg muscles, how you can squeeze those together really tight while you point your toes. That's what you need to do, because that's develops kind of like, it's not like your primary muscle groups. I feel like it's like the stabilizing muscle groups that it makes really strong. And that's what you need for gymnastics. You need those muscles to be really strong. That's why gymnasts don't really lift weights, because that doesn't help. So it's like the secondary and tertiary muscle groups that really help. So that is a big one. Must condition with perfect form and take your time. So if you're not doing it right and you're kind of like wanting to finish, your form will not be as good. If you want to get faster with right form, you just got, it takes time. It takes time. Everything takes practice. So we're in junior year, end of season, and I'm like, what is college gymnastics? I don't even know. What is this? What do I do? Where do I go? Who has it? No idea. And thankfully, and my coaches at Gymkhana, they knew, and they were like, we got you. I decided that they were telling me, if you get a certain amount of these skills, there's like 3 to 4 skills on, let's say, every event I needed. And I just want to back up a little bit. I did very well in like high school gymnastics and so forth. I was always in the paper. There's like Fox News did this like thing on me where they interviewed me, followed me around school, for whatever accomplishments I've made. And it was on like TV. So it was pretty cool. So the reason I'm mentioning that is not to like brag about it, but I'm telling you that even though I was doing well, I had no idea that I could do more. And it's so interesting, when you're younger, you don't realize, you only see what's in front of you, you don't realize the things that are in your future. And obviously that's what TikaTime is for, because I'm going to tell you about all these things so you can feel better prepared. So anyway, it was, I worked really hard that summer, crashed a million times because I had to like take my level 8 to level 10. If you're a gymnast out there, level 8 to level 10 is like insane. Like you have to get so many bigger skills. So, I was just crashing and burning most of the time because, you have to do a trick like 1,000 times to actually get it. It was a tough summer and fall, but I got everything I needed, mostly, I think. And I started competing, whatever, December, January. Crashed and burned at many meets then too. So, and you guys know, like when you're under pressure, it's so different than when you're just practicing a skill. And these are skills I did not even have barely any time with or enough experience with to be competing them. But again, once they told me that there's something more and there's another goal I can accomplish, I was just like all in. I'm just a very goal-oriented person. So you just need to tell me what it is that there could be to do. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's what I want to do. And so then I just get locked in. Yeah, I did. I crashed many, many times. And there was nothing that anybody could really do because it was just like the progression. It was just the fact that I just only had 6 months. So anyway, like senior year, like this was second semester, we started making my tape. Obviously, I didn't have a lot of these like really, really big skills, but I was working release moves and all these other things. I was actually really good on beam. I think that, yeah, actually my senior year, level 10, I won Illinois State for beam. I had like the most difficulty. Beam is like one event I just adore because you know why? The beam doesn't move. And you only have like it's like 3.5 feet or whatever to fall. And it's like solid. So I just felt like really comfortable doing any skill possible on beam. I literally am telling you, I think I did every skill possible on beam. Senior year, second semester, right? Making my tape, trying to like get these skills on tape. And then I guess either my coaches got contacted by Iowa, or I don't know if they just came or showed up. I really don't know. But in walks Liang Chow. I don't know if you guys know who that is. You might know him as Coach Chow. And he came to watch me and maybe some other girls that were on my team too. They were younger. I was really the oldest one. Actually, there was these triplets girls. They were all triplets, but they were older than me, maybe by 2 years. And they were amazing, phenomenal. They went to Iowa State. So anyway, Iowa came, Coach Chow came, and he just noticed like the raw talent I think I had, because again, I was absolutely not polished at all at that point. I don't know. They just got really, they were just super interested. And I actually did, I think I applied to about 8 schools. I knew I was wanted to do biomedical engineering. That was what I wanted to pursue. And there weren't like, back then, there weren't like all these universities that had it that were also D1. So I applied to all of those, and I think I was looking just a few handful, like Michigan State, Arizona State, UIC, and Iowa. I would say Iowa was definitely the one that was like really pursuing. And, it was, I had another summer there. I didn't go on that recruiting trip until July 30th. Like what, 2 weeks before school starts. The reason was my dad didn't want to pay for it. He's like, you're not going out of state. Going to UIC, it's right there, because I lived in Oak Park, so it's like 5 minutes away. I'm like, no, I'm not. I want to like go. I want to have an adventure. I want to go somewhere else. You guys know you kind of want to like get away at that age, right? So, but Iowa kept on pursuing. So the coaches, they were just like, you just need to come. Bring your dad. Come, on a trip, and he'll love it. And we did. And can I just tell you, remember the first thing I remember seeing was like all these frat boys outside playing beach volleyball as we're like driving up. And I was like, oh my gosh, why is everybody so hot? And I need to go here. That's what pulled me in. My dad actually did also fall in love with the hot frat boys. No, I'm kidding. he fell in love with the campus too. And it's very different from UIC. It's like, I love Iowa. I would totally recommend anybody to go to Iowa. If you have questions for me about Iowa, if you're thinking about going to Iowa, please just ask me. I have so much experience there as an athlete and just a student too, and an engineering student as well. So if you have questions about engineering, write me. So anyway, yeah, my dad fell in love with it, and he was like, okay, fine, I'll pay for it. And, I did have to walk on that first year or semester, but basically the coaches were like, you are so late, like we've already given all the money away, but if you come and you're doing as well as you're doing, then I'm sure that there's going to be a scholarship open for you. And there was, and it was wonderful. And I always got a really good amount of money. I'm just gonna say, I don't know if I can say that, like they just take care of you, as especially I would have to say the girl athletes. I'm so sorry, boys out there, especially gymnasts, it's so tough. But remember, don't bank on those athletic scholarships. You need to make sure you're doing well in school and do well on the ACT, SAT. I prefer the ACT. And then you don't have to worry about that so much, like, okay, fine. One, you really want to go to a school, but they don't have the money. Okay, do your job, study for those tests, and they give you so much scholarship money. Do good in school. Unweighted grades are really important. So to have a good unweighted GPA, that also, colleges can be like, okay, here's some money, or here's some grants or whatever you can get. So anyway, athletic scholarships aren't the only thing that you need to bank on. I was fortunate enough to have that, but I know for my kids, and especially, I have like 3 sons in gymnastics, and there's not as much money in men's sports that are not football or the main ones, right? So we are making plans for that right now too, to how to get other scholarship money for college. College was awesome. I was coached by Coach Chow, and he was amazing. He like completely turned around my gymnastics to a whole nother level, as he did for Sean Johnson. I remember he told me like, when he left my senior year, it was so sad. He opened up his own gym in Des Moines, and he was telling me all the time, like, oh, there's this girl that walked in, and she's really good and whatever. And it was ended up years later, long story, it was Sean Johnson. So and I know there's a lot of talent that's come out of Coach Chow's gym. There is a way to do gymnastics well, and definitely, like, there's some coaches out there that know how to teach. I hope to get back into teaching gymnastics someday. I don't know. I'm so busy right now with what I have going on, but I learned a lot from Coach Chow, and now I guess I share it with my kids, and I can share it with you guys if you have any questions, and my kids' friends I share it with. But yeah, I do definitely. I have coached before. Obviously, every gymnast has coached. It was really fun, but yeah, it was a great ride. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. That, you know what, if you're thinking that you're getting into something late and you don't have the time, it's mind over matter, 100% mind over matter. Your body, your matter will believe anything you tell your mind. So set your goals high. Okay. All right. Talk to you later.